Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 77. And today, I want to go ahead and rip the band-aid off, and I wanted to talk about the major elephant in the room, which is now that we have the sealing away of Naruto and Hinata, how it's going to be the start of Boruto giving up control to Momoshiki. In hindsight, the fact that Hinata would be sealed away with Naruto was already right there in our faces, because Boruto made that promise to Hinata that they would see each other again when he returned home, and Momoshiki stepped in and told him, don't make promises that can't be kept. He never said which of them wouldn't be home to see the other, and this is just another example of the mangaka choosing to subvert the expectations of readers, because we all thought that Boruto would make it home. However, it's Hinata who won't be home for Boruto. Now that we see this first domino falling for Boruto in order to give up control, let's look at the impact and why this is the perfect decision to begin the subsequent spiral of Boruto Uzumaki into the darkness so deep that he willingly gives up his body to Momoshiki. Look, putting it bluntly, Boruto's a mama's boy. The signs have always been there, especially when we consider how fiercely overprotective he is of his mother and his sister, who just happens to look very similar to their mother, especially when we consider all the stuff you see in the anime. The idea to have this be the first moment where Boruto begins to lose his grip on reality is really poetic, because it circles back to what we saw in the past with Momoshiki in the Momoshiki arc. He thought that he'd lose his mother briefly, but was reassured by Sakura that everything would be fine with Hinata, and Boruto thought that he would lose his father, but was reassured by Sasuke that they could still save Naruto. Back then, Boruto still had adults there who could hold his hand and guide him through the situation towards a rosy ending. This time, however, this time is different. His parents, they're gone. There is no adult there to hold his hand, and when he makes that discovery, only he is going to know that Momoshiki told him that the time where he would lose everything is close at hand. Boruto's being forced to grow up right now. That self-doubt is going to begin to start creeping in, wondering if maybe there was something he could have done to try and avoid this very situation. Perhaps even if he shared what Momoshiki told him, maybe things could have been prevented, regardless as to how irrational that line of thinking is going to be. When he learns that Kawaki did this because he didn't want Naruto to try stopping him from killing Boruto, Boruto is going to likely look some kind of way towards start blaming himself. Again, it's irrational, but when it comes to emotions, emotions are not rational. The beauty in what we're seeing is that Boruto's mental state of mind is going to slowly start to shatter itself, and I think that's going to be the key for Momoshiki getting control, because when the mind has been weakened via a mental nerve, it affects the chakra of a person due to one half of a person's chakra being comprised of yin, the mental and emotional and spiritual energy. We've seen mental nerves throughout the entire Naruto series, from Hiruzen's implied mental nerve in the Orochimaru fight to the obvious mental nerve that Edo Tensei Minato suffered once he realized that the masked man was actually Obito, to the most recent examples being Sasuke's admitted restraint when he saw Momoshiki controlling Boruto after his Rinnegan was destroyed, and his vow to never let something like that happen again, to the way that Naruto just flat out mentally shattered during the Cold Assault arc when he saw Momoshiki controlling Boruto and when Boruto ultimately died. The weakening of the mind might very well be the thing that gives Momoshiki the edge to take over Boruto and suppress Boruto for an extended period of time, like Momoshiki boasted to Boruto. If Boruto loses his mother and his father, it makes the boy who ignorantly weighed in on his father's upbringing of not having a Hokage for a father because Minato was dead. His words are now karma biting back at him, forcing him to see things partially through the lens of Naruto. Even worse is the fact that Kawaki, someone who is like a brother to Boruto, is the one who did so and has made it his mission to kill Boruto outright. Look at the irony right here. Boruto ended Boruto the movie wanting to know more about Naruto's story, and in that time slip arc he got to experience some of it, but now he's being forced to see the other side of Naruto's story by watching Kawaki, and it's not because of the whole Kawaki is Sasuke stance I see a lot of people taking. Kawaki views Boruto as a thing, something to be despised, the same way that Naruto is criticized as a child growing up. Allow me to explain further. After Danzo leaks out that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, which I covered in a whole other video on how Danzo ruined Naruto's childhood, people in the village, for the most part, with only a few exceptions, they viewed him as the Nine Tails, not as Naruto. Kawaki didn't see Boruto anymore. He only saw Momoshiki, but he at least just knew that Boruto was there. But ultimately what he sees is Momoshiki. He's slowly becoming the very thing that ironically Naruto had to overcome as a Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. It further adds that parallel people initially drew to Boruto and Momoshiki towards Naruto and Kurama when it was revealed that Boruto was a vessel for Momoshiki. However, there's a big difference between Kawaki and the villagers. Kawaki is in his right state of mind and knows killing Boruto is wrong and knows that he's dehumanizing him, but he views doing so as a price for the greater good of humanity. The villagers took out their fear, their grudges, and their ignorance on Naruto and dehumanized him, and it took Naruto years of his life to change people's minds. Boruto is going to have to grapple with a shade of gray in this ninja world that he's never thought that he would have to do until now. It's one thing to be hunted by someone like Ishiki, someone who you know and identify as being evil. The same thing with someone like Code, who while he's a religious nut job, he's still someone who falls into that category as well due to his goal to have a chakra fruit harvested. However, being hunted by someone who slept under the same roof as you, who shared meals with you, bonded with you, trained with you, and shed blood with you in battle, that's a different kind of feeling that's going to do severe mental damage to Boruto and test his mental state of mind, and Momoshiki is waiting for it. It won't be enough to have Momoshiki take over, but it's going to push him to that brink, to learn what happened, to see that shattered photo of his family, to learn that his adopted brother did this to his parents, and to know that even more chaos is coming. Between this and what is likely about to be a manhunt for Kawaki, since sealing away the Hokage of a village and his wife is going to be viewed as an aggressive act regardless of Kawaki's intentions, that will be viewed as a potential declaration of war, and given the hostile action and how it can be perceived, things are not going to end well. Boruto's brother is now a wanted man by the village, and he's changed right from underneath Boruto's nose, or rather right in front of his very eyes, and Boruto just ignored what he was seeing. There's obviously going to have to be more in order to push Boruto over the edge. It's going to take more ties that are close to him being severed, but I do think we're headed in that direction. In the chapter, Boruto proudly name drops Naruto and Sasuke when telling Damon not to feel so smug about his power because of how awesome Boruto thinks they are. He's still a child who views his father and his idol as men who are heroes, the adults who can step in and fix a situation. Reality hasn't hit him fully yet that the powers that they're facing, they're beyond Naruto and Sasuke. Boruto still has that childish innocence where he thinks that they can do something, while Sasuke is arguably stronger than Naruto right now. This is beyond them, and for the first time since they fought Madara, they're in a desperate and vulnerable situation. Yes, Kaguya was stronger than Madara and stronger than them. However, as they were trying to figure out using their powers and growing stronger in the process, they still had a roadmap to defeat Kaguya. The chakra seals that Hagoromo gave them, which could use the six-pass Shibaku Tensei, there was still hope there. Initially against Madara, after he was revived, there was no hope. Madara outclassed him in every single way. It brought out the primal nature in both of them of the fight or the flight instinct against what could have been viewed as the apex predator in that situation. Right now, Kawaki has the hacks required to make Boruto wake up to reality, the same way that Naruto fans who thought Boruto would be announced as an infinite Tsukiyomi were forced to wake up to reality when Jump Festa announced everything except for that. So my question to you guys is this combination of Naruto and Hinata being sealed away by Kawaki enough to break Boruto? Will Boruto have to suffer more before he can give up on the will to live, like Momoshiki said? While you think that over, click here to watch my Boruto chapter review, or click here to watch my Black Clover chapter 348 review.